Hey everyone. So this week we are diving into a new topic. And in actuality, it is kind of the same topic, but from a very different lens, from a very different way to look at it. We're going to be talking about the three centers like we did last week, the body, heart, and head, but from a very different lens. What we're going to be talking about today is taken from Dan Siegel's book, Personality and Wholeness in Therapy, that came out November 2024, I think. And in it, he looks at the Enneagram and studies the Enneagram in a kind of different way and puts some new language to some things that really floored me when I read it. And I think it's really an important way to understand the Enneagram. So this week, we're going to be talking about the primary need for each center, body, heart, and head. And then after that, we're going to be talking about the direction of attendancy, which is a term that Dan Siegel came up with, meaning where we direct our attention. And what we're going to do after that, after we talk about the main need and then the direction of a tendency, we're going to combine the three of each of those, in which that creates 9. So one primary need with one direction of a tendency. Almost picture it like a matrix graph. On the top you have the primary needs, 3, and then on the left you have the direction of a tendency, and what that, as each one matches up, that creates 9 different numbers, which sort of kind of makes the building blocks of the Enneagram. To be honest with you all, I have taught the centers of intelligence for years the way that I did in the videos last week. It's not until this Dan Siegel book came out that I kind of started teaching it in a different way, and I'm not sure which way people resonate the most with. So what I want to do this week is, and next week is talk about this in a kind of a different way. This week especially talk about the centers in a different way, and I'm curious if this resonates with anybody differently. And if it does, and if you appreciate this teaching better, or if it clicks better for you than how I did it last week, please let me know. I always want feedback on how I teach things. So this week we're talking about Dan Siegel's idea of the 3 needs, the 3 primary ego needs, needs that we all have. And I want you to even kind of step away from thinking of this as these numbers have this, and these numbers need this, and these numbers need this, because all humans need 3 distinct things, or our ego needs 3 distinct things. One is a sense of autonomy, one is a sense of bonding or relational connection, and another is a sense of certainty. So a metaphor that I like to use for this is like a sailboat. In order to whatever, what's it called when you ride in a sailboat? I don't know. Use a sailboat? I don't know what that would be called, what driving is on water. I don't know. So imagine autonomy, bonding, and certainty. For a sailboat to work well, there needs to be a sense of autonomy, which you can look at as the steering wheel and the sails. So you need to be able to have a sense of autonomy and do what you need to do and take action and move forward to even go anywhere. You need to be able to have some sense of control over what's happening, physically even, to do anything with the sailboat. The next part is bonding. You need a crew. You need other people with you to use a sailboat. You need other people with you to be teammates and partners in this. And the third thing that you need for sailboat is related to certainty, which I like in this metaphor, a map. So in order to utilize a sailboat, there needs to be an ability to steer the thing, which represents autonomy, an ability to have people working with you to get your task done, which is the metaphor for bonding or relational connection. And then you need a map, which is the metaphor for certainty. So those are the 3 main human needs: autonomy, bonding, and certainty. And those actually line up with the 3 centers of intelligence. Body types are the ones that tend to have a higher need for autonomy. Heart types tend to have a higher need for relational bonding or connecting. And then head types tend to have a higher need for certainty. In Dan Siegel's book that he released last November, he talks about how they've studied, and we are very, very likely born with a slight temperament in one of those directions. Meaning, out of everybody born, there's a slight temperament toward needing autonomy more, toward needing bonding more, or toward needing certainty more. And as we are spit out into this world where we have to meet our own needs, and where pain and discomfort happens, and where difficult things happen, we pull on those temperaments. We move in the direction of our temperament that we already have, to take care of ourselves, to meet our needs, to make things happen, to take care of ourselves. And the more and more we do that, the more and more that gets grooved into us. And so when we're born with a slight temperament for autonomy, we tend to move toward that and grab that, and that works for us. And so we keep at it. And same with bonding and certainty. And what this kind of does is it digs very deep grooves in our nervous system. Dan Siegel has a phrase: neurons that fire together wire together. So the more often we're doing something specific, the more often we are going to, the quicker we can do that, the more we're going to go back to it, the more of a specific and set pathway in our brain gets created to do those things. So what we're going to do this week is break down each of those in a lot more detail, the ideas of agency, bonding, and certainty. And then we're going to talk the following week about the directions of a tendency, and then we're going to combine those with each number. And also want to talk about how each number gets that sense, gets that need met, because 8s, 9s, and 1s are all needing, right, this sense of autonomy, but they all go about that in very, very different ways. And same with the heart center, and same with the head center, with their own respective needs. So hope that makes sense. I'm excited about this topic. This is a kind of new topic that I've been teaching for about a year now. And yeah, if you've never heard language this way at all ever, I would love some feedback. I would love to see what you think about it. Yeah, so I look forward to the next videos.